Guys, this video is sponsored by SimpliSafe, but we'll talk about those guys later in the video.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Chaseontwowheels here at Mountain Motorsports in Roswell, and in front of us is the 2020 Kawasaki Z400, and ladies and gentlemen, it is time for a first ride. So guys, we're here with the 2020 Kawasaki Z400, which is simply the naked version of their Ninja 400. I really like the Ninja 400, and I have not gotten to ride the naked version yet, so I am super excited today. Now, things to note, this is a used model here at Mountain. You guys can see we got some scratches on the stock exhaust, a little scratch here, a little aftermarket levers here. It kind of looks like it's been over once with the shifter being there. But I like to give you guys a little walk around for a used model so we know that it's not stock. But this one's pretty close. So without further ado, let's check this thing out. Alright guys, that's what it looks like, that's what it sounds like. Now, before we get this video started, you guys know we have that glorious camera car footage from that vehicle over there. But in order to afford that, we have to play an ad real quick. Don't worry, it's fast. So let's jump to the ad and then we're on this thing.
Thanks SimpliSafe for sponsoring this video. For you guys that don't already know, SimpliSafe is an easier way to secure your home and family. SimpliSafe systems are customized to your home with a comprehensive lineup of sensors and cameras that all connect to their 24/7 monitoring service that sends help fast in an emergency. You simply go on their website and go through all of the sensors, and you just grab as many as you need to cover all the spots in your house. They've got all types of sensors that cover windows, rooms, doors, and lots of great extras like water sensors, smoke detectors, as well as cameras, both for outdoor, doorbell cams, and indoor cameras. They also just recently launched this new outdoor camera that I've really enjoyed using. Whether I'm in the backyard or at the shop, I can just pull up my phone and check in on the camera from anywhere. The install on this thing could not be easier. Just a couple of screws and the camera magnetically attaches to the mount and you're good to go. All you need to do is recharge the battery every now and then. With all of their sensors, your home, garage, or shop is professionally monitored 24/7. If anything happens, SimpliSafe's always on team will call authorities immediately. My favorite part about SimpliSafe is the way that you have no contracts. I've had really terrible experiences with other security companies locking me into contracts, and then I have to pay them to cancel it when me and my wife moved. Now I don't have to worry about that anymore with SimpliSafe. Plus, trying SimpliSafe is completely risk-free. If you don't absolutely love your system, just return it within 60 days for a full refund. If you guys are in the market for a new home security system, you can save 20% on your SimpliSafe security system when you sign up for an interactive monitoring plan, and you get your first month free. You're welcome. Just visit simplisafe.com/chase to learn more. Also, thank you guys for checking them out because it really helps the channel out. And now, back to the video.
All right, guys, thank you so much for sitting through the ad. If you didn't sit through the ad, we wouldn't be able to bring you such cool camera car footage. All right, guys, we're here on the Z400, a 2022 model. Let's get it, or 2020 model. I keep saying 2022. Let's get this thing cranked up. I'm 5'10". I got a 32-inch inseam. Got slightly bent legs here on the Z400. I can even flat foot when I sit down and stand up, which is awesome. You guys have waited long enough. Let's get this thing going. Guys, before we get going, I did want to invite you guys to check out our motorcycle-based Discord page. It's totally free, full of a ton of people that are just like you that enjoy motorcycles. So If you guys are one of those people that enjoy Discord, highly recommend you check it out. You can even recommend what bikes I ride next on First Ride, so check it out if you want. All right, let's get her going. The Z400. What a phenomenal platform for Kawasaki's 400 or 399cc parallel twin. I am excited for this first ride. You guys know Mountain Motorsports, at least in their Roswell location, is not a Kawasaki dealer, so I don't get to ride a lot of Kawasaki. So anytime I see one, I get really excited to get some seat time. I really wish I had more opportunities to ride Kawasaki's and a couple other brands, but when I saw this on the floor, man, did I get excited. And also, you guys tell me, this is the fourth, might be the third motorcycle in a row that's orange, and every motorcycle has been a different brand, obviously, one of them being KTM. But how funny is that? We do an orange Gixxer, we do an orange KTM, and then we do an orange Kawasaki. I don't know what's happening with the orange bikes lately. They're not getting all the love they deserve. I think this motorcycle, depending on how this first ride goes, could be a phenomenal option for you guys maybe starting out riding. And I'm going to be looking at it in that light today because I think it could be a phenomenal choice for you. All right, guys, we are on a first ride, and we start these things off with the body position. So we've got a seat's a little hard. My back is pretty upright. I've got a slight lean forward. I will say my legs are tucked in far more than I expected them to be. My arms are kind of draped down and comfortable. I've got a handlebar here on this model. Obviously, that's one of the main differentiators between it and the Ninja 400. But as far as body positions, I am very comfortable. I'm kind of sitting a little higher up, and the major thing I'm taking from the body position is just how tucked up my legs are. I really wouldn't have expected them to be tucked in so much. Now, is it comfortable? Yes, absolutely. Good leg placement when I come to a stop for my legs to easily get to the ground. Also, before we get too far into this first ride, guys, I'm gonna warn you again, just like I warned you the last time when I was on that Duke 890R. My allergies have been super terrible, so if I sound weird or if I sound low energy, I am dealing with some really nasty allergies. Been taking medicine. I'm trying to feel better. I'm actually recording this on my birthday, which is fun, but unfortunately, I have super bad allergies, and Georgia has decided to make everything yellow right now. So guys, let's talk about power modes real quick. The bike has none. It's got the one. It's got your throttle. It's a 400. You know, we don't see power modes in lower cc bikes that often, so that's really no surprise. You do get ABS, which is really nice. I love seeing ABS. If you don't know, ABS is anti-lock brake. So if I decide that let's just say this brown Volvo in front of me just slams on brakes, me as a new rider, I panic and I say, oh my god, I don't want to hit that car, and I just pull on the brakes as much as possible. Without ABS, your wheel would actually stop moving and you start sliding instead of actually effectively braking. So ABS is really awesome, especially on these bikes that newer riders are going to be on. I'm a huge fan of ABS on these lower cc bikes, or these bikes that I see as good entry levels into the motorcycle market. We're on kind of city streets, and let's talk about balance. Obviously, we are talking about a smaller motorcycle, but it feels tiny. It feels like I can jump in and out of traffic with literally, and I am not exaggerating, no energy. I just kind of think about, like, I wonder what's going on in the right lane, and the bike will just whoosh over there. The bike is super light and easily able to jump around traffic, which is going to make it a phenomenal city bike. When you're on a heavier bike, specifically a super sport where you're leaned over quite a bit, city riding can be a little difficult because you're not in a very comfortable body position. But I really like this body position. The only thing I don't like is how tucked up the legs are, but other than that, and I can look past that, you know, over time, I do appreciate the slight aggression it gives me, but I can look past that. I think for a city bike, this would be a phenomenal bike. We actually made a video saying the MT-03, which is a competitor to the Z400 here, is the best city bike, and, you know, we took you guys through that argument. If you guys are looking for a low cc city bike, this and the MT-03, super good competitors in that category. But anyway, the balance, it's super light. Like, I can just flick this thing around as if it does not exist. So that could be a positive or a negative, right? It's positive in a way that you have very easy maneuverability. The bike's not going to tire you out. It is a little bad, though, if you're going to be doing a little more spirited riding, we'll say. That lightweight could make you feel less stable. So I'm definitely going to be looking for that when we get to the highway section. But as far as here on the on city street, you know, we come to a stop, I'm able to easily get my feet down. I don't have to really deal with the weight that much because there's not a lot of weight to deal with. Very happy with this bike for these settings. The power delivery in these settings is also phenomenal. You know, it is a 400. It's kind of the higher end of the entry-level low cc bike. We'll talk more about the power delivery later in the video, but right now for city streets, I'm really digging that as well. This is what I mean about balance. Like, this is my first ride on this bike, and I can already get it just barely going. If it didn't have a good balance, I wouldn't be able to just slowly move it. Feet are up on the pegs, and I'm able to just slowly maneuver through traffic. And let's look, just effortless throwing this bike over. It makes it feel really playful here in traffic. I'm not condoning you play in traffic, but if you're experienced and you know what you're doing, this is definitely a fun bike to have in town. Because then you get to play at the red light and you're all like, oh, am I gonna foot down? I didn't make it. Oh, so that's another thing with that weight. Like, look at this. I can lean this bike back and forth with absolutely no problem. Super easy to control it. That's one of the reasons I like this so much as a beginner bike, because, you know, there's going to be times where maybe you come to a red light and you stall, or you come to a quick stop and the weight gets away from you. You know, let's just pretend you're up here on the pegs, the bike gets over, and if it falls, you're able to catch it, and it doesn't take a lot of strength. You get one of those heavier bikes, man, that thing can get away from you, and that's how that bike's going to touch the ground. It's going to fall over, you're going to try to catch it with your leg, and you're going to be holding it, you're like, I can make it, and then you'll probably give in from how heavy it is. But this little guy, you get a problem, you lean it over, no problem at all. So power delivery here on city streets, I am a fan of. It's got the power if you need to get around traffic, as you can see, but it gives it to you in a pretty linear fashion to where I can expect exactly how much power is going to hit me. It's not coming in all at one time. Very controllable, makes it easy to learn your bike really well. Those are giant tires. You know, having an unpredictable power band being where the power really hits on the motorcycle. Some bikes, they don't have a lot of power up front, like low in the revs, but then high up they have a lot of power. This bike has pretty universal power band, and that makes it really simple to learn your motorcycle. You don't have to worry about, oh snap, am I above or below 8,000 RPMs, because that's when the power hits. We'll find out on the highway. I'm going to imagine there's going to be a little more power higher up. As far as, you know, we're going up to like 7,000 here in traffic, and power feels really manageable. Now next up we have the highway, ladies and gentlemen. Highway, we're on a naked bike. We don't have fairings to protect us from the wind. We don't got much of anything protecting us from the wind, so I'm curious how the highway is going to go. In the past, when I've done a review of the Ninja 400, this platform, that's one of the reasons I like the 400 platform. I mean, to be fair, the 300 platform as well. The reason I like those as beginner bikes is because they actually have enough oomph to get you on the highway, going highway speeds, and it's not dangerous. I'm not a huge fan of the 250s. I just don't think it's enough power for here in the States. As you guys can see, the highway we're going to be getting on is massive. Cars are going at a high speed, and I don't want to feel like I can't get up to traffic speed and get around traffic. That doesn't make me feel safe as a rider, so that's what I'm looking for here. That and how stable this little bike feels on the highway. This is where the lightweight might come in as an issue for this bike. But we'll have to find out. All right, we're going 50. I don't think we're going to get a 40 to 80 pull on this. Just don't think it's going to be safe to do here. We're going to drop that 40 to 80 pull, but let's just give it some throttle and see where she goes. And that is 80 in 6th gear, and that power is coming on, and 8,000 RPMs is where it's holding a lot of power up high. That's impressive. All right, we're here on the highway with the Z400. As expected, I've got a lot of wind on me, there is no doubt. I can feel wind from my hands all the way up to the top of my helmet. I'm having to lean myself a little forward, and doing that helps me fight the wind, but it is taking a decent amount of energy for me to get through this wind. I don't see you guys enjoying the highway on this thing for more than maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour if you pushed it. We're going 87 right now, and I'm just having to lean into it. Now, as far as vibration, I'm getting a little vibration in my feet, tiny micro vibrations in my handlebars. Nothing I would complain about. Now, as far as stability, super light still on the highway. I wouldn't say that I don't feel stable, but I don't really feel that planted here on the highway. That's got to be due to that light weight. Also, you know, I'm dealing with that and trying to fight the wind myself. The good news is, power-wise, you know, you guys can see we're going 88 with no problem. We got plenty of power left if we wanted to get up going a little faster. So I don't think you're gonna have a problem power-wise getting around traffic. Obviously, we're going way faster than we should be. So I'm really happy to know power-wise this bike's not gonna have a problem. If you guys have maybe a 20-minute, 30-minute commute to maybe work or school, I think this bike would have no problem getting you on the highway. You're just gonna have to learn to, like, you know, when you're doing those highway speeds, leaning up on the bike and fighting the wind so it doesn't, you know, blow you back so much. Overall, though, good showing for a low CC bike. Also, just as a side note, we do not have cruise control or anything like that on this motorcycle. It's pretty obvious we don't have a lot of controls. We'll talk about the controls later in the video, but I don't really care about not having cruise control on this bike, to be honest, though. All right, guys, coming up to our big turn. Let's get this thing shifted down a little bit, lean it over, and see how she feels. That lightweight coming in clutch. I don't feel crazy locked to the ground. I can feel the bike like working and doing some stuff underneath me a little bit. I wouldn't say it's taken away any confidence in me, but the bike leans over well, but that suspension starts to play around a little bit once you get leaned over a bit. Nothing that would stop me from going to the mountains and having a good time, though. So guys, before we get going any farther, we got to jump over and see what the guys in the camera card think, thanks to the sponsor of our channel, Cardo system. So guys in the camera car, what you guys think about our little Z400 here?
Kind of a cool setup. I'm partial to motorcycles with handlebars on them. They're just, I find them more comfortable and more enjoyable to ride. I've actually not had the opportunity to ride the 400 to know what it feels like. But I would have to imagine it's just slightly better than the last iteration of that machine, which was a pretty good bike, so not so bad. Pretty cool.
I like the color on it, how it's a non-traditional, I mean, is this a traditional Kawasaki color?
They've used
With the
it
orange?
before.
Okay.
They've used it before.
I just like it better than the green, I guess I'll say. But yeah, it's a very kind of, we don't say entry-level motorcycle, or we don't say beginning-level motorcycle, we say entry-level motorcycle. So it's kind of a cool classification in that category. You can still get out and about and do all the things you need to do. So big thumbs up in my book.
Alrighty, guys in the camera car, thank you so much for your opinions, and even more so, thank you, Cardo. If you guys want to grab a Bluetooth unit for your helmet, I literally could not recommend them anymore. It's the only thing we use here in the shop, and we absolutely love them. Link in the description will actually get you a little discount on a Cardo. Alright, guys, so the suspension feels good around town. I love it around town, but I will say, when I'm pushing this bike in a corner, I do feel a little bit of wiggle, a little bit of work. I wish it would feel a little more stable. And when I go over those big plates in the road, some sort of like big abrasion, I do feel it a lot in the motorcycle. So the suspension's not doing me a ton of favors by soaking any of that up. I would definitely say so far, the suspension feels like the weakest component of this motorcycle. Next up, let's talk about the transmission. Now, I've found myself shifting up through the gears a lot on this bike, and I don't have a problem with that at all. I kind of like how it's geared. That's one of the fun things that I absolutely love about these low CC bikes, is you get to actually play around with the gearing of the motorcycle. You end up getting something like a Ninja 650 or something like that, and you literally don't have to leave like second or third for the majority of the stuff you do unless you're on the highway. Whereas these little bikes, you can see I'm sitting here going 65, I'm in 5th gear. I've got to go all the way up and down the rev range, all the way up and down the transmission. Really love that for these little CC bikes. I've had a little bit of trouble with the bikes not wanting to get into neutral. You know, pulling the clutch all the way in, I adjusted the clutch lever a little bit. That problem seemed to go away. Next up, power delivery. Most of the power on this bike, it's delivered really well in a very linear fashion, meaning the more power you give it, the more power you're going to get out of the engine. But I do notice there's a little bit of power up and around 9,000 RPMs, more so in the 9,000 range. When you get the bike to that point, and by the way, you guys can see here on the tag, that's pretty high up. You are gonna feel a punch of power up there, which is, I really like that, honestly. But just keep that in mind. Overall, really enjoying the power delivery. But let's try the brakes out. Anybody behind me? Skirt. Got a little ABS action on the rear wheel there. Brakes are totally solid, actually. I have no problem with the brakes at all. I expected the brakes to let me down a little bit. Good job, little Nissan calipers. We have duals? Nope, just one. I feel like the brakes match this bike pretty well. You know, I was hammering on the brakes. I felt really linear, didn't feel any like aggressive grab. That's a solid showing. They're not Brembos, they're not going to stop you on a dime or anything like that, but I have no problem with it. I think they match this whole package that we've got working out right here really well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about this controls area and the cluster. As far as all the buttons on the bike here, I've got no problems with them. Obviously, they are a little on the cheaper end. I wish I could have a little more tactile feel when I'm pushing the buttons, specifically the blinker. I've noticed that I don't get a lot of click back, which leads me, an idiot, to leave my blinker on a lot. But to be fair, this is like a, what, $5,000 motorcycle. It's not a very high, expensive motorcycle. I don't expect to have really nice blinkers and stuff like that. I've got no problem with the grips. I got no problem with the aftermarket levers here. I do know that this bike does not come stock with adjustable levers, so I'm a big fan of adjustable levers. They're always something that I'm personally going to put on a bike if it does not have it. And that's actually what helped me be able to get the bike to click into neutral a little better, was to adjust that clutch lever. So I'm a big fan of those. If you guys are picking up one of these stock, I do highly recommend you guys look into adjustable levers. Now, next up, let's talk about the tack up here. Not a ton to talk about. I love that we have a gas gauge. Always look for that. And we got a time, we got odometer, we got the tack up top. I think it gives you the information in a really nice way. Some of the premium things we have is the gas gauge and the gear indicator. As you progress in your riding, you really don't need a gear indicator because everything's based on what rev you're at anyway. But it is nice to have a gear indicator just to, you know, confirm. Now, we are on the 2020 model, and Kawasaki's been doing this style stuff for a while. Am I going to argue about it? No. Would I like to see Kawasaki start putting a TFT and everything? Yes. I feel like TFTs are getting to that point where all motorcycles should have TFTs. I'm not really going to complain that much about the instrument panel up here. Overall, really nice job. I like where the handlebar places my arms on this bike. You know, I get a little bit wider of a control of the bike, and that really helps me like going in different directions in this little flickiness that this bike has that I'm enjoying a lot. A lot of that is due to the weight. A lot of that is due to the handlebars. But guys, I know y'all have been looking at the bike thanks to that camera car footage, but I have not got to do a little walk around of it. So we're going to pull off up here in our little church parking lot. I'm going to get off the bike, show you guys what I think about it, or talk through what I think about it. And maybe, who knows, God forbid, maybe take a photo or so. Alrighty guys, 2020 Kawasaki Z400. I tell you, man, parking lots, this bike comes alive in a parking lot. You can just whip this thing around all over the place. It's hilarious. All right, you guys have to let me know in the comments. What do you guys think about an orange Kawasaki? I feel like this. I feel like it's obligated to be green, just like a KTM should be orange and a Ducati should be red. So that's the Z400. If I'm gonna be honest, I really do like the kind of shapes of this motorcycle. I'm not a huge fan of the MT-03. I think I would choose this over the MT-03, but we'd have to save that for a comparison video. I do like the kind of openness. It gives it this kind of hooligan-y vibe. And this taillight is straight off of a Ninja series, which is, I really like the shapes back here. It'd be a bitch to clean, I bet, though. So yeah, that's the little Z400. I would definitely get a better exhaust. This thing is so big for this bike. And look how tiny it ends up being. I would definitely upgrade that. That rear tire is so tiny, too. Goodness gracious. Overall, really cool motorcycle. This thing has been really impressive. I think, personally, I might choose the Ninja 400 instead of the Z400. But I'm kind of here for this thing. I like it a lot. For like a city or, you know, you're going to be in traffic a lot. this thing's been fantastic so far. But guys, before we get going too much, we're going to do our photo. I'm going to grab my camera. We're going to take a little photo of this thing. If you guys aren't following us over on Instagram, you definitely should. We're at C2WPics, and we always post photos of the bikes we're doing first rides on. So if you guys are interested, go follow us. There'll be a link in the description to check it out. I am so here for that headlight. It's probably my favorite part of the bike, honestly. All right, guys, so that's some cool photos of the bike. If you want to check them out, like I said, they'll be over on C2WPics. And we're also making content over on TikTok, or at least we're trying to. If you guys want to follow us, we're at Chaseontwowheels. Let's get back on this thing and finish this video up. Alrighty, time for the famous, or infamous, steering lock test. Let's go, little Ninja 400. It's all up to you. A decent showing for the Ninja 400. Let's get claps in the chat. Alrighty, guys, so now that we've spent some time on the Z400, let's give some final thoughts here. While I was standing around that motorcycle, I had a realization, and it's a positive one. I realized that the Z400 is probably the best motorcycle I've ever seen a company make that feels like the upgrade to the previous model. And I don't mean like the Z before it, I mean the Z125. This motorcycle makes me feel like it's a bigger Z125. It's a little bit bigger, it's a little more comfortable, it's a little bit stronger, and it's just as fun and playful as that bike was. So the reason I say that is if you have a Z125 and you're looking to upgrade to something with a bigger engine, this might be the most perfect motorcycle for you. If you are coming into motorcycling and this might be, you're looking at this as your first bike, I really feel like this is a absolutely amazing choice. I mean, I would put this up there in like the top 5 bikes people should start on, honestly. The power is really good and linear. It's going to help you learn. The bike is very light, so you can flick it around. It's not hard to control. The steering is relatively light. The levers have a really good feel. They're very light. Your fingers are not going to... everything's light about this motorcycle. And I think it's a phenomenal platform to really learn on. I can't think of anything about this bike that would push me away from recommending it to beginner riders. If the looks do it for you, you know, it's going to be a phenomenal motorcycle. I couldn't recommend this more. If you're in that category. Overall, I think it's a great bike. I even think somebody that knows how to ride would have a really good time on this thing because it's got enough power to have a lot of fun on, and it being so light makes it a very playful motorcycle. So I think you could find a lot of enjoyment in this motorcycle, even if you're like me and a more experienced rider. But anyways, guys, that's all I've got to say. Before we get out of here, I do got to give a shout out to Mountain Motorsports, the dealership we started at and the place I'm headed back to now. They allow me to ride these bikes around for you guys to test them out, to make these first ride videos. If you guys are in the North Georgia area and you want to check out any motorcycle you can think of, Mountain's got about 5 dealerships up here in North Georgia. Huge inventory of motorcycles for you to go in and sit on. So go check them out. They'll have links in the description for them. And if you get your bike at Mountain and you tell them that I sent you, you'll get a discount on your bike, which is really cool for you guys. So take advantage if you want to. But anyways, guys, I'm Chaseontwowheels. You guys ride safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Later. Outro crew, thank you for getting to the end of the video. You guys, I love you a little bit longer. Make sure to put OC in your comment, and let me know, is it blasphemy to ride an orange Kawasaki? Should Kawasaki's only be green? Of course they shouldn't, but should they? You guys ride safe out there, and I'll see you on the next one. Later.